Does it fit? No. I'm working with this, and there might be some errors. According to my wife, quite a few actually. So there is no way I did that. It's too fitting. Great, that's very, very motivating. We have now taken over the cabin, and it's just wonderful up here. It's very good weather. It's quiet and calm, and a little bit of temperature in the sun. But of course, I know this is a boat channel, so you're probably not interested in this. So I make it short. It's a good day. So back in the garage, it's quite cold outside still. It's about 7 degrees above freezing point, which is not sufficient for polyester to cure at all, but epoxy might. But still, there are a few challenges. Challenge number 1 is that the boat will be moved this week, and I don't know when. And I'm not too keen to attach any structures just temporarily, while strapping up the boat from the truck will change the shape of the hull when it's lifted, and it might then break loose whatever I have glued temporarily. So I'm not too keen to do that before the boat has switched place. But I have the garage, and fortunately enough, there is heating cables encapsulated in the floor. And if we go over here and we do like this, then we see that's possible to change, for example, 17.5 degrees, and that will make the floor quite okay. Meaning I can try to glue this structure, this bulkhead, I guess, with epoxy. Just putting some plastic underneath so it won't stick to the floor actually. Okay, so I guess we will then wait for the floor to heat up. That might take some hours. So I guess we will have to wait for tomorrow. Back in the garage, and it's epoxying time. I'm not going to add very much structure to it because this is only transportation gluing, as it will be stiffened up when it's mounted. Ready to mix the epoxy, and it's very strange. I'm feeling out of shape mixing epoxy. It's been a while. I did mix too much resin, and could I use it to glue that plate on top of this? That is really not planned at all, and it might be a disaster. Why not try? I can always do better next time. So I actually need more resin now. Let's mix too much once again. Ja da. So let's start this disaster. The pieces are glued, and as usual, I did something probably very stupid. I glued an extra layer of thin plywood on top of the other plywood because it's not thick enough, but it was not planned at all, and I had to trim the piece afterwards. But another much more important question is, will it stick? Because these are old plywood plates. And they might have been treated with something that I'm not quite aware of yet. And I've put that into epoxy now. And that was not planned at all. I just had some extra epoxy. And one thing led to another. Okay, let's see tomorrow how this thing will work out. Okay, it's not boat work time right now. I have to go to the cabin with I have filled up the car entirely with equipment, good bed. I have a bad back and I need a good bed. And also we will work with the boat later today when I arrive home. So we're at the cabin. We are not at the cabin. I am at the cabin, but somehow you are too. Anyway, I will remove the lower bed and install the bed I brought with me today. Then I have to remove that oven and unscrew this. Okay. So it's look better in the cabin. You might say this is too nice for a cabin in the mountains, and that might be true, but it is actually bought used. It's a $20 carpet now, as used. What it costed new, I don't know. And the same with the chairs. They're very, very, very cheap. I think I paid probably about $2 or $3 for this, and that's okay for me. Back in the harbor again. It's still cold, 7 degrees, too cold to glass. So this boat and all the others will be moved this Saturday, it seems, to clear out all this space. I am the only one, it seems, that has gotten an exception. That's very fortunate for me, probably because I can, with these videos, document that I'm actually working on the boat. So good for me, good for me. Otherwise, I would have to splash the boat, and that would make it very, very problematic with glassing when it gets hot enough, because the water will still be cold for a few months and it will never actually be warm. For those of you that are used to the sea being above 20 degrees, that doesn't happen over here. I've brought some of the structural walls, so I will bring them aboard and try to fit them, not with glass because, as I said, it's still too cold, but see if we can just if they fit and if I can temporarily fasten them with the glue gun. Very good. So we have the first 4 structural walls aboard, and let's see if they do fit. I don't normally have that luck, and as I said in last video, I'm a complete amateur, especially when it comes to woodwork. So this is very exciting also for me. I'm not going to cheat to check it first. I'm going to do this on camera directly, and then we can share the up tour or down tour. Does it fit? No, but it's not bad either. It's not bad really. It's, for me, impressive. For you, I don't know. Live in peace. Let me see. All right. That is really good. Let's have a look. There is no way I did that. It's too fitting. Great, that's very, very motivating. Okay, good. Let's move on. In theory, I could just start gluing this, since my plan is to use epoxy at the meeting point between the plate and the hull, the plywood plate, and then later glass with polyester. However, it's too cold to glass with polyester yet. It's warm enough to glass or to actually glue with the epoxy. However, since this boat is to be moved with a truck lifting it with straps, that might rock the hull when it's being moved. It will be pushed a little bit in, and I'm worried that just gluing will mean that the epoxy can come loose, and I will be very unhappy about that if that happens. So then it is the rear end of the boat, and let's see if this template is fitting. Here we have not grinded away everything, but it might still fit. In other words, I do have an excuse if it doesn't fit. It wasn't me, it was that. Are you okay? Are you okay? Sorry about that. So it seems to fit well below and increase the distance. Increase the distance up, but that is due to this. So if I can get that away, it might fit. Let's remove it. Trying to get this done with one hand on the camera. Maybe. So the conclusion is that it looks okay where it hurts the most, and bringing it further up the distance increases. But up here it seems okay. It seems okay. It seems to be okay. I forgot that with this plate I can actually screw it to the wall. And it won't move at all. Does it fit? No, it don't, but it's not far from. It's a little bit long, it seems. So after adjusting a little bit on this private plate, we see now that the fitting is quite okay. A little bit over the edge here and further up, but it's in total it's okay. Yes, this is okay, it seems. Back in the boat with the epoxy and the thickener and the laser, of course. Can't do anything without the laser. Alright, so let's continue. I hope to glue this one to the hull and maybe some others, I will see. It's just a short time till the boat will be moved, so yeah. So the first structural wall is glued to the hull using epoxy, and it's not that bad actually. I do hope it's enough since the boat is to be lifted very soon. I'm a bit worried that the motion will remove this wall actually, but we'll have to see about that. This is an exciting time. Alright, time to go home for this evening. back in the harbor again, and I've brought another piece of structural element with me. And let's see how the gluing from yesterday has been. It is still here, but however, it seems that it has not yet cured. That is maybe no surprise. This is epoxy. It takes time to cure, especially when night temperatures drop to maybe 4 or 5 degrees above freezing point. That's Celsius. And but now it's okay weather. It's very nice, but it's still a bit chill. But inside the boat, I guess it is probably 15 or 16 degrees, maybe 20. The problem now is that tomorrow the boat is supposed to be moved and with the forklift. So I think I should focus on what's back here and cleaning a bit and maybe glass these elements that I can screw to some structures up and also up here. This is just a little bit extra to secure this from coming out when the boat is lifted tomorrow. Hopefully not necessary. So you think you can tell? Why not leave a like if you have enjoyed the video so far? And I can play the guitar and we get back to boat work again. And also, consider subscribing. That's a good thing. Heaven from hell. All right, we got the laser installed, and what I'm checking now is the alignment. We can see that there is a laser there. It's just checking, come on. It's just checking out the distance compared to the other wall. So I have degreased the walls, the hull, and what I'm going to glue. And now it's time to mix the epoxy resin once again. We're done with the second structure. It seems to be okay, and it fitted quite well, but not everywhere, of course. But I have filled in with epoxy, thickened with fiberglass. So it should be okay. And this one is attached with screws, so it should stick even when the boat is moved tomorrow. Very good. Now it's this one, and I have degreased, so it's time to mix the epoxy filler. Filler? It's not filler, it's thickened epoxy. Anyway, the screws are ready. Screw machine. So the second wall is done. Wall structure, yeah, it's actually the third. 1, 2, 3. The third is done. It looks okay. It's slightly rougher, but it should be okay. It should be okay. Let's hope so. Today it's moving time for the boat. I'm going to do a little bit of help with this yard boat, just to to help others move their boat.
Ok. Går det greit, eller?
Ja, men då sitter jag kvar och filmar med. Flink du är. Har du filmat lite?
Back in the boatyard again, and this time, as we saw earlier in the video, the boat is moved. And since the asphalt has a curve slightly this way, the boat is also not straight, which is a problem when you do interior work. So I need to work a little bit to level up the boat. So that's the plan for today. Start leveling off the boat. And I will do that by loosening these things, which I have no idea what it's called in English. I'm not sure what it's called in Norwegian either. But I can call them Fred, Johnny, and whatever. So I will tighten up Fred and Johnny, and on the other side I will loosen up and see if I can move the boat a little bit over like that. So wish me good luck. As we can see, the boat is quite leaned over, so this needs to be fixed. So the target is to get this blob within those lines. We're getting closer. Oh yes. Very close to being water leveled sideways. We haven't even started to look at the bow and stern leveling, but that is another story. Should be okay. And what about the forward bow stern? That seems to be actually quite okay. So this wall is a mover. It wished to go anywhere else but stay put. So I need to attach it with several attach points, I guess. Several pieces to keep it in place, and also something down here not to prevent it to slide down. See, it's quite what shall we say? It fits, but it's not tight. So then this wall is glued. It's not done, but it's glued to the structure. It looks okay. Yes. I've attached a little wooden piece of wooden plank to keep it in place, and also on the top I've also wedged in a piece of plank. So hopefully this should be okay. And before anyone comment, as I said earlier in previous video, this window will be blocked. I will cut this piece in cardboard and make a fiberglass piece and insert and glue it. So I've just picked up these two diesel tanks, which I hope will fit on each side of the engine room. It is aluminum tanks. It seems like they are very well built, even with drain or sump or what we call it. They are some years old, yes, but it's aluminum. It's not stainless, unfortunately, but aluminum is okay as long as it is not rusted, it's corroded. They have a lot of amenities, can we call it that? This is for air ventilation. This is return. This is filler. No, this is air. Filler, return to engine, to other tank, and to clean out the sump. So very exciting. I just paid about $60 for both of them, and that is a modest price to pay. All right. We're back in the harbor again, and today it's a wonderful day. This is Norway in a nutshell. April. No one knows how the weather will develop. Yesterday it was 7 degrees, and today it is 20 at least, and sun. So it's not hotter than hell maybe, but it's very hot. Very hot. And it means also that inside the boat here is about 30 degrees, I believe now. So the plate from yesterday has cured well, and I tried to remove one of these, and and the plate was, of course, ruined. But that doesn't matter because it will be behind the glassing. So today it's a short day. I have business to attend, but I was hoping to do this structure with epoxy. Just gluing it, of course. Yeah. So let's go ahead. All right, so we are done gluing this structural member. Yeah, something like that. And it's okay. It's some places a little bit much gap, but I don't think that is a problem. So, and it's hot today, so I guess the epoxy will kick off quite soon. I'm heading home. Very good. Tomorrow it will be motorcycle tour into the Norwegian mountains again. It has been reported very nice weather. It's actually now 22 degrees outside. It's so summerish this week that it's actually now too hot in the boat to use the polyester because it will cure in 10 minutes, making it very hard to work with. The epoxy should be still okay to do some gluing, but polyester, no. So it's a little bit on-off here in Norway, especially now during spring times. It's now entered May, and we may see different kinds of weather. I think it's reported rain next week and quite modest temperatures. Hopefully temperatures that can be fitting to do some glassing. The structures I have glued with epoxy will then be would be glassed in with polyester. Some say that you shouldn't combine polyester and epoxy, but I will do that. I have epoxied the end of the plates that go towards the hull, and I will remove any substance from the epoxy that is where the polyester will come. And hopefully the polyester will stick quite well, maybe not to the epoxy, but to everything else. So I think it should be okay, hopefully. Any thoughts about it, please leave it in the comments below. Thank you, because as I mentioned several times, I'm an amateur and I'm working with this computer, and there might be some errors. According to my wife, quite a few actually. So we have to listen to her. Take that into consideration when working with the boat. Okay, back to the boat. It is darn hot in here. It's really hot. Not sure how much, but the epoxy has, of course, cured. So this sits well. I was hoping to have the next piece brought on board. It's this piece, but it is a huge piece. And the question is, can I get it in the door? And the answer is probably not. Can I get it in there? Well, the hatch is now closed for good, which is of course reversible, because I can unscrew about 40 screws. But the question is it any larger space? And if I had something to measure with, which I don't right now. Wait a minute. Now I have something. If I do take this stick and also this stick and extend it so it fits in the opening, taking the door into consideration, then I move the stick to that. We can see that it is actually not any larger at all. Opening the hatch will not help at all. So, great. So we have to cut it into 2 pieces and then glue it back together when it's aboard. So I need to cut this structure with this green line, then I have a little bit extra space, and that should be okay. I will get it in and I will splice this afterwards. So, cutting away part of a piece to get it into the boat, one always wishes to cut as little as possible, as the end piece is way less stressed than the large piece. What I didn't take into consideration, however, was the fact that these structures are still here. So, my measurement obviously meant I had to take it directly into the boat, not sideways in an angle. So I might have to remove these temporarily to get this in. I'm not cutting another strip off the plywood plate. That is not tempting. So we got the large piece into the boat, but we need to clear this mess, as this piece will already now, I can see, will be very demanding to work with when gluing it. So yes, it will be fun. Or maybe not, but this is not a good day to glue this piece because it's too hot in here. I need a lot of water to stand this heat, and I need to mix epoxy. I need to make sure that the piece actually fit, and I need to remove some of these as I can't get the piece in the right position right now. So, and maybe I should also have this piece placed, which means and reminds me that we have that piece home in the garage, so I should fetch that. This is an old Alicraft 31, Norwegian produced, I guess, from the late 70s. It has a great inboard Yanmar, if I remember correctly, 315 horsepower. And it's from the series that was the latest before Yanmar started electronic inputs, electronic injection. So it's a mechanical engine. It belongs to a friend of mine, a senior in this boatyard, the member. And he's a very kind and helpful man, and I'm going to help him sell his boat. Unfortunately, he is a senior and has come to the conclusion that he has come to be too old to use the boat. It's demanding too much energy from him, so we have to let the boat go. So, and there Knut is watching the boat, which it will look great after we have finished it. And we'll take some pictures and advertise it. Underneath the floor here is a great engine, and this is a really good boat. Really, it will go way too cheap because it's old. And as we can see inside, there are lots of good amenities here. Very good and spacious front bed. A very good kitchen, even with a ventilation, mechanical ventilation, and a toilet. And of course, or head. Toilet is head. And in the stern there is a very spacious aft cabin. So hopefully we will sell it. This is rhododendron whiskey. Imagine that. Probably one of the nicest plants of the rhododendron type. Anyway, this is what we have time for in this video. I hope you're happy with the progress. I do notice that I have issued with time, of course. The new cabin in the mountains is stealing time, but I just have to reserve some time for that as well. But I promise I will do my very best to keep on pushing the boat project, because that is also in my interest to do, of course. So, until next time, I do hope that you have considered subscribing and that you did like the video. And if you did like the video, please remember to leave a like. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Excellent.